Welcome back to the Landry Hat YouTube channel. I am your host, Zach. You might have seen me before on my own YouTube channel talking Cowboys at Double Move. This season, I am on the Landry Hat YouTube channel. I'm taking over. Once again, thank you to FanSided for the opportunity. It's been a ton of fun talking football with Foots and Jerry, who we just recorded a podcast with yesterday. And I couldn't be more excited to talk more Cowboys football. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down an article titled, Matt Eberflus should beg Cowboys to make this trade, but it still won't save him, by Lior Lampert. Remember, you can get all of your Cowboys news on the Landry Hat website. Breaking news, breakdowns, opinion pieces, all of it on the Landry Hat website. It'll be linked down below in the description of today's video. This article that we're talking about today is a very interesting one because of where we are with this defense. I think you could look around at all 11 guys on the defensive side of the ball and say, that's an issue, that's an issue, that's an issue, and that's why I wanted to talk about this article. There's a million different ways to frame this, and I find it interesting amongst Cowboys fans, amongst people that cover this team. What do they see as the main issue, and is there really any move they can make to save this team? We're all down in the dumps as Cowboys fans. Dallas can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're bad at quite literally everything. Out of all the things that they're bad at, one of the biggest issues and something that I've talked about ad nauseum this season is their linebacker room. It's just not good enough. It's straight up bad. Kenneth Murray, who the Cowboys traded for this past offseason from the Titans, they gave up like a 5th or 6th round pick, a day 3 pick to acquire him. He hasn't been good. Jack Sanborn had familiarity with Matt Eberflus in Chicago. They signed him to a pretty minimum deal. He's been injured and not playing well, just not quick enough, not athletic enough. Maris Leofau, drafted in the 3rd round back in 2024. It seems like he either makes the tackle and absolutely kills the guy or completely whiffs or doesn't know where he's at and his run fits. And then Damone Clark just can't even get reps on Sunday. He can't even get on the field. I think that's why in this article he focuses on the Cowboys trading for a linebacker and why Matt Eberflus should really be pushing this team to trade for Logan Wilson. All of the ones that they have right now are just not good. If you want to hear me and Foots and Jerry go really in depth on the Cowboys roster, how they've performed up to this point in the season, the midway point, we graded every single position on this team, every last player we talked about. So if you want to see us talk about the linebacker room, it's on the Landry Hat channel. But just wait, I want to keep talking about Logan Wilson. The first question the Cowboys are going to ask is, how much money does he make? We all know that's very important to Jerry and Stephen Jones. That's going to be the first question they ask when they pick up the phone if they call the Bengals. In 2025, Logan Wilson's contract or his cap hit is $8.7 million, which is about 3% of team's cap. Not a whole lot of money, actually around the range of what Kenneth Murray is making this year. In 2026, he's set to make $9.5 million. And then in 2027, at the age of 31, he'll make $6.6 million with a cap hit of $8.2. What actually makes this one interesting is Wilson has an out in his contract after 2025, in which whatever team he's on could cut him and just have $6 million in dead cap hit money. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video. If Dallas did trade for Wilson, he's going to be here. So we need to look at that 9.5 and 8.2 million because Dallas isn't trading a half-year rental and then taking on $6 million in dead cap. That might actually end up lowering his price in the market because you can get on the phone with the Bengals and say, well, I'm not giving up a high draft pick because if I cut this guy, I'm taking on $6 million in dead cap hit. You don't have to do that. What if I don't want this guy to stick around? What if he can't play next year? He's injured and this and that. That could potentially lower his value. I think if the Cowboys traded for him, he would be here all the way through his contract. He'd play out every last dollar of that. If you're like me, you probably haven't watched a ton of Bengals games in your lifetime, especially in the past 4 to 5 years. Maybe on that Super Bowl run you did, but you might not know Logan Wilson as a player. So I went back, watched the film from the first 2 games of this season to kind of get an idea of what kind of player he is, and some of my notes from that. He is 6'2", 245. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2020 NFL draft. He's a high-effort, downhill linebacker that's physical in the run game, sound with his gap control against the run, and can move sideline to sideline. He had an 8.85 relative athletic score coming out of college. And one thing I will say is he's a better run defender than he is in coverage, which is a weird thing to say because he has 11 interceptions since 2020. And if you compare him to any Cowboys linebacker over the past half decade, 11 interceptions. I don't even know if that group has 11 interceptions combined all together amongst every player that's played for them in the past 5 years. So to have 11, about 2 a year, is pretty impressive. He's much better than every other guy that they have right now that have played coverage snaps for Dallas this year, with Kenneth Murray or Marist or Damone Clark, whoever. Jack Sanborn, he's a better coverage guy than him. But just because he's better than them doesn't mean he's a great cover linebacker. He's much better against the run. So the Cowboys ask on the phone, how much money is he making? The second question is going to be, why is he available? Cincinnati has invested in the linebacker position with guys like Demetrius Knight, and they're just trying to get those guys as many reps as possible, really build for the future. You take a guy in the second round, you want him to be good for years to come. They know what Logan Wilson is at this point. He's getting a little bit older. He's not on the wrong side of 30, but a little bit older. They invested a second-round pick in Demetrius Knight, and they want to see that guy play. And he also might just be better than Logan Wilson is right now. Cincinnati is building for the future. They're trying to get their young guys snaps, their draft pick snaps, over the veteran, which you can't really blame them for. That's really how you should do it. If you know that potential out is in Wilson's contract after 2025, if he's not going to be here, we need to start getting those other guys reps. Since his reps have really cut back, I mean, he's playing maybe 15 to 20, sometimes not even more than that. He's not playing a ton. Wilson requested a trade. He wants Cincinnati to trade him, which makes sense. He's not a young guy, right? He's not trying to earn his snaps. He just has young guys playing over him, and he's not on the wrong side of 30 yet, but he is getting a little bit older, and I don't blame him. He wants to play football. NFL stands for not for long, so if I'm on this team and I can't play legitimate snaps, I want to go to a team that will play me. And the Cowboys would certainly do that because they're so bad at linebacker. So far in 2025, Wilson is ranked third in the NFL by PFF against the run, which is music to my ears. He's on the market because there's a conflict of interest. Wilson wants to play. They want to let the vet move on. They probably want to do good by him, so he's on the trade market. And if they can find a partner, it's probably going to happen. Now, will it be the Cowboys? I don't know. The third question that they're going to ask on the phone is, what do you want in return? What is the cost? I think the Bengals are going to say, give us a day 3 pick. Give us a 5, a 6, a 7. Maybe a pick swap would work. It's not going to take that much for them to move on because it keeps them from taking on dead money, knowing that a veteran that they've liked over the past couple of years has to sit there on the bench while the younger guys play. I don't think it's going to take more than a day 3 pick. He's due $9.5 billion in 2026. We talked about it with the dead money, $6 million if Dallas were to cut him or something. That could definitely be used as a bargaining chip if Dallas wanted to, and then he's due $8.2 million in 2027, because that's what the Cowboys are going to be looking at. I don't know if it matters as much between a 5th or a 7th round pick. They're going to want to know how much control they have over a guy in his contract after 2025. They're not going to give up a pick for a guy that's not going to be here past this season because it doesn't make any sense, right? This move, as it says in the article, would not save 2025. This is let's get Logan Wilson in the building, and he'll be here for the back half of this year, and then in 2026 and 2027, he can be a solid piece in our linebacker room, teach the young guys, be a veteran. It wouldn't be let's save 2025, although I think it would help quite a bit. And this is where I start to differ in the opinion of the author here. He says that it won't help because the coaching and scheme is the real problem. He goes on and says that the trade would help the defense on paper, but not solve the core issue because they have no help with the scheme and the coaching by Matt Eberflus. He also agrees that Eberflus is going to inevitably be fired by the end of this season, which I agree. Logan Wilson is not saving Matt Eberflus and making this defense magically better for 2025. As much hate as I've given to Matt Eberflus, and it's well-deserved football hate, by the way. I don't hate Matt Eberflus. All of the criticism that I've given Matt Eberflus over the past couple of weeks is 100% justified. I think the reason that it wouldn't help in 2025 is because you don't have the players to do it. You don't have the players to benefit from better linebacker play. The defensive line, terrible. The defensive interior, terrible. Defensive edges, terrible. Let's say you get Logan Wilson in the building. Well, he's going to be facing offensive linemen that are climbing up to the second level and getting their hands on him, because that's just the reality of the position. You're at the mercy of your defensive line getting absolutely smashed on double teams and pushed out of the way, and a 300-pound lineman getting up to the second level and getting his hands on you. Your guys up front are getting smacked. Plain and simple smacked. So to me, and I've been saying it ever since the trade rumors started, it's really about fixing the defensive interior first. Yes, the linebackers have been awful, and Wilson would help a lot more than people realize, because Kenneth Murray is just too hesitant, not sure of what he's seeing. He doesn't get downhill quick, doesn't shoot gaps, and Wilson does do a lot of that. But if you're constantly trying to shed 300-pound linemen at the second level and sift through blockers and stuff like that because your D-line's getting moved, there's really no help for that unit. There's no hope for that unit. I wouldn't be mad at this one. Let's say that Dallas gives up a 5th or 6th round pick. I wouldn't be mad, but it also wouldn't feel like a 2025 move. It might help a little bit, a smidge, having Overshown and Logan Wilson. It would be a move that goes beyond 2025 because you have him under contract through 2026 and 2027. He's an intriguing name for sure, better than what you have at linebacker right now. And if you want to hear us talk about the linebackers and talk about our grades for this team halfway through the season, please head over to the podcast that I just did with Foots and Jerry, where we broke down each and every player on this roster, studs and duds so far through this season at the halfway point. We were talking about everything that we've seen so far. It kind of put a bow on everything really nicely at the midway point of the year. So either go to the top comment of today's video, you can listen here on YouTube, or click the link and listen to wherever you get your podcast. That way, you're not going to be able to see mine, Foots, and Jerry's beautiful faces, but you can at least listen to it on your way to work. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. For more Cowboys content just like this, I am your host, Zach, here at the Landry Hat. You can check me out at Double Move for more Cowboys content. I'll be live for more Cowboys content after the Cowboys game against the Cardinals on Monday night. I'll see you guys next time.